And welcome back, everyone, to game number 2 here for the Losers Match for Group L of the FX Open Invitational Series. I am Unstable, joined here by Relkun. iM'Mafia against Immunity's Mafia coming up. Ohana will be the map. Last game was actually quite good. There was a lot of back and forth between the two guys, but unfortunately Mafia got caught in a position with Mutaling and Fester against Templars. And that never ends well. So, let's see if he can bring it back in game number 2. We have, of course, at the top left-hand corner, we have our red Protoss. It is going to be Incredible Miracles IMYonghwa going for a Forge First Expand. And then down here at the bottom right, we have our blue Zerg. It is going to be Immunity's Mafia going for a pull first because he has been pylon blocked. And last game we saw him go for that quick 3-hatch, and it worked quite well for him. He was defended the early aggression, the harassment in that Warp Prism really well. And then he got a lot of aggression onto the third base of IMYonghwa as well. And I really feel like he was ahead for quite a bit of that time, but he just didn't get out of that Mutaling after he saw Storm, and that really just turned around and just punished him really difficultly. So
it's workable. The problem is playing against a Protoss army is always position based. Like the Protoss army is just so positional oriented. If you catch it out of position, it just gets annihilated, or if they catch you out of position, you get destroyed. And that gets amplified when you're playing the Mutaling and Fester style, because you're just playing a very fragile army that's really mobility based. And he just attacked in the absolute worst possible place. So it just didn't work out. It was just really bad mistake that turned the game completely around. And it's like Mafia's been playing really good, but each game you can point to that one mistake that just turns it around. And it's just, stop doing that. You know, come on.
yeah, that's very true. Okay, so we do see, of course, the double hatch coming out from Mafia yet again. I really feel like he's solid. He's really, like, his decision making in the Maru game was good. He just got a little bit nervous. He seems to have gotten rid of that now. His decision making in that last game was really good up until the point where he ran into Storms, and he was ahead at that point. So there's a clear improvement in his play each time. So he's probably still suffering from quite a few nerves playing against these top tier players. But at the same time, I think he can compete if he can just get over that. So
what was the neutral server for Korea and Australia? Do you know?
Korea, Australia. Okay. For those of you who don't know, if you're playing in Australia, you have a minimum of 300 ping to the US, or you have like a 50-50 chance of getting 150 ping to Southeast Asia, or a 500 ping to Southeast Asia. So going to Korea is 0 difference. It's actually probably better playing on Korea for Aussies compared to NA. Yeah.
That makes sense. Oh, this Zealot is actually going to get caught. Nice
job.
He
is too. Nice job by Mafia right there. He did lose one Zergling, and he's going to have to back off because of this Stalker now. But still, he's going to see that probe when it comes out. He's got all 3 of his hatcheries up and running.
Ooh, IMYonghwa. He's going for the expansion into the delayed 4-gate pressure. You see this now and then. Like, it works if your opponent is doing that really greedy drone style, but this time Mafia isn't. He's dropped a Roach Horn already. He's had his gas up for a little while, so he's not droning as hard. And actually, he's not droning anymore at all. He could be going for a Roach Bust, really? That's what it looks like.
Off 3 hatches, like, it's been known to happen, but he needs to be careful of this Overlord. He's actually going to lose it.
Oh, no.
He's going to get the Stalker in return, but he still is supply capped here, especially with +1 coming out. We've got the 4 gateways already done. Twilight Council's on the way as well.
What the hell? I saw a Hydra Den on the production tab for about 2 seconds, and then it disappeared. that had to be...
With this is not Ragnarok.
There's no layer. That's not... What did I see on the production tab? There was something that appeared and disappeared. And the layer's not done yet, so it wasn't a Hydra Den. I didn't see what the building was, so he's kind of making up his mind. He's changing his mind. He has now decided to go in the layer in Evolution Chamber. And this is kind of tricky. Because, okay, he is now making the roaches. It seems like he was thinking about doing the Roach Bust and then kind of changed his mind, made a few more drones, and now he's making defensive roaches, which is going to work out pretty well against this 4-gate pressure defensive roaches.
Well, we do see a lot of these Zealots coming in now. There are some Zerglings to help buffer here, but the Roics are not done yet. We only got a couple of Roaches coming in from the north. So he needs to be careful with these Queens. He's trying to run the Zerglings away. I really like that from him. However, with these 4 gateways, he's going to get the... Oh, the Roaches are caught! And one Queen is going to go down here on the left-hand side. And there's just so many Roaches, it's hard to kite against them all. Wow, 3 of these Roaches on such low health.
The creep actually spreading there helped him a lot. One of the creep tumors finished a very important time, spread the creep just enough so they get that extra movement speed. And now these roaches are going toe-to-toe melee with these zealots instead of kiting them, while the other roaches were blocking out the stalkers.
Yeah.
He microed this a little bit better than he would have been fine, but he's actually losing a lot of the roaches, and the stalkers are going to come and kill the last few roaches. You know, Mafia's not going to die here, but he's going to take more damage than he should. There's more Zerglings and roaches popping out that should stop this aggression, but he's actually gotten a few drones on top of this, as well as those 2 queens.
Yeah, well, having a look at the resources lost, it's still fairly even, only about 400 minerals. Sorry, 400 resources, because that... Whoa!
The Templars coming in right now. Oh, they kind of blocked the roaches there. That was a little bit bad, but he's splitting them up to all 3 bases. There's only 2 Overseers on the way as well. So, yeah, he's killing a lot more now.
Yeah, he definitely is. Of course, we saw that DT Shrine on the production tab during that action, so it's actually quite difficult for Mafia to really defend against this. This DT in the main, though, is getting quite a few kills. I'm surprised he hasn't run his drones away, at least. He's going to get at least, like...
He's being blocked by the roaches, and his pathing is just... It was just standing there. He was trying to go around the roaches, but he was completely stuck just by a wall of roaches. Now he will actually get around because YongHwa had to micro him manually, but he could have gotten a lot more kills if it wasn't for that little bit of a pathing bug.
Well, I don't think he really needs any more kills here, Relkin, because there's 36 workers killed in total right now. Looking at this, 41 to 55. YongHwa's going to be able to take an extra base now, going straight into that, after that 4-gate pressure into that DT Shrine, because we saw the Twilight Council coming up. It's pretty much, without the extra gateways, it's pretty much expected that that's going to happen, but Mafia had no vision of it at all. And he's like so close with his Overlord too. So he just took so much damage there, it's going to be difficult for him to actually come back into it, because he's going to have to drone back up. And this whole time, YongHwa is going to be able to make a lot of army as well.
He's got a lot of resources, and he hasn't dropped any extra gateways. He's got the 2 more up in his main base. He's working on Blink. He's making an Immortal here and there. But what is he going to be spending the rest of his money on? Like, he's got the Nexus going. He's warping in a few more units. Okay, he has actually drained that down a little bit as he starts warping in another Immortal. But it was just really high there for a second. But I guess he was just getting ready to get all the infrastructure for his 3rd going.
The thing is, like, once you have the economy, it starts to look like people, like some Protoss players have really bad macro, but when they're just waiting for the warp gate cooldown to go through, like, you actually dump a lot of stuff. Like, say you have 10 gateways, right? You look here, Stalkers are 125, so that's 1,250 minerals that you need just to warp in around the Stalkers. So it does spike up that much, quite a bit.
It's also that he's only on, like, 6 gates, robotics, and forge. So that is a little bit low even for 2 base, but he was just getting ready to drop a bunch of buildings at the 3rd as well. Yeah. So he was saving up a lot of minerals on purpose. So I was just wondering why his total production looked a little bit low, but he was just getting ready for the 3rd base. And now his army is looking pretty good. There's a lot of sentries in here with force fields. He's got that Immortal back there as well.
Mafia cannot come into this.
Shut this down. Like, he does not want to commit to this. Please don't commit to this.
Well, he's got to do something. He feels like he needs to do something. Like, he is splitting out his roaches quite nicely. There's 2 Immortals in the mix. The second one only just came down. I don't think Mafia's really realized what's going on here at the moment. But, like, the general idea on what he's doing is really good, but because he lost so much there, to go force fields, cut those roaches completely in half. We do have roaches up here in the north in the mineral line, but his army is being completely decimated right now, just because it's coming too late.
Yeah.
Just because he lost that many drones. He had to make 3 or 4 rounds of drones to catch up. More force fields going down. A perfect arc here for YongHwa. Just absolutely decimating these roaches coming through. The Immortals at the back, getting quite a few kills, 7 kills on one of those. And there's still force field energy left, and this is where it's going to be really difficult for Mafia now, because he's going to be forced to chase away. Blink is done, so he's just going to blink after him just like he did there. And now he's down in supply. I think 3 base versus 3 base here. We do see level 3 weapons is going to finish up so quickly here for YongHwa. That's something that's happened in both of the games. Roach reinforcements coming through, but there are Immortals and Blink. You can't really trade with this.
Yeah, and he was actually focusing down some of the sentries in that fight, but he was only getting the sentries that were out of energy, so it wasn't really working out in his favor. Honestly, YongHwa is just in an excellent position right now. If you look at the worker count, he's at 62 versus 55 drones. He's got 2 more gateways on the way, because now that his infrastructure is in a good spot and he's got the 3rd base mining really nicely, he can throw in even more production. He's going to be able to just take this army, drop a proxy pylon, and honestly, whenever he feels like it, just run over Mafia because his production and his economy is just better.
Mm.
They're both on 3 base, was just generally good in this matchup for the Protoss. And Mafia just isn't fully saturated his bases because he lost so many drones.
I see this situation quite a lot when some of the foreigner guys ask to practice with our players. Sometimes they make sometimes the foreigner will get a really big lead because they've caught the Korean player doing something really greedy, and then they're ahead. But the Korean player just plays so solidly from then on in. They wait for the opposing player to make mistakes, and that's what Mafia is trying to do right now. But Yonghwa's just not making any. He is behind, he knows that, but he's just trying to wait and see if Yonghwa makes a mistake to try and get him back in there. And that's the one thing you can really pray for, is play perfectly and hope that something else did it. But I don't see that happening here. Yonghwa's been playing too well right now, and the Zerglings are going to go for the run by. But this wall off here, the 4 gateways with his cannons behind it, one of these cannons can't even be touched. Literally cannot be touched by the Zerglings. And the Roaches are actually getting caught off guard by these Immortals and Blinkstalkers are coming forward. Blinking forward yet again here. I
think he's just getting desperate at this point. Like, this attack isn't going to do much, but he was hanging around waiting, like you were saying, to see if Yonghwa was making a mistake, and he just wasn't. So now he's realizing that his time was just ticking away, and he's like, okay, I got to do something, anything. And it didn't work out very well, and now he's even farther behind. It was just a desperation move. You can understand why, but now Yonghwa is going to take that advantage and push straight down the middle of the map.
Yeah.
And I don't see Mafia stopping it.
Mafia did a really good job of defending that 4-gate aggression, though, and it just completely caught off guard by those DTs. That's really all it was. We do see these Immortals shredding everything through here, and unfortunately this looks like it might be the end for Mafia in our event, and Yonghwa will move on into the final match, but still, he did play, Mafia played really well. It's unfortunate that he got the nerve issue against Maru, because I really feel, with what we've seen, the decision-making from him in this matchup, it would be quite well at CVT, but it's just an offensive blink on all these Roaches, that just absolutely shredding through it. 166 applied at 90, and there we go, there's the GG. So Yonghwa will take the series 2-0, and we say goodbye to Mafia, but he shouldn't really feel bad. He played quite well against these two, in that set anyway. So we'll be right back with our final match. It will be Yonghwa versus Maru. Stay with us.